Yeah, Blaney stamps his spot in the Final Four. These last 5 weeks, that team has just been on fire. Do you look at him now as a favorite going into Phoenix with the run he's been on?
I do. Yeah, I think that he's historically been good at that track. And not just historically, I'm saying he's been good at that track in the next-gen era. And that matters, right? You can look at all the past stats that you want. Doesn't matter. It's who's been good in the next-gen era. And Blaney has been. I think that he has really fast speed right now. I mean, this looks eerily similar to Joey Logano from last year. No. Did Joey win the championship last year? He did. Yeah. Where, through the summer months, it was just, I don't know. I mean, did you, I almost, can you racing reference?
I have Blaney's racing reference pulled up already. He did finish second at Phoenix in the spring, for what it's worth.
Okay, just give me the 15 races before the playoffs. Where was his finishes?
All right, well, let's just start at Sonoma here because this number fits what you're looking for the most. 31st at Sonoma, 36th at Nashville, 33rd at Chicago, 9th in Atlanta.
Now, let's be clear. Let's be transparent. Hold on. Let's not try to steer our viewers into thinking Ryan Blaney sucks. He had those 30-some finishes. That's not where he ran. He had trouble in those races. If you start telling me teens, that's probably where he ran. Go ahead.
Okay, 33rd at Chicago, 9th in Atlanta, 22nd at Loudon, 30th at Pocono, 14th at Richmond, 9th, 18th, 9th, 36th, 9th, 12th, 22nd, 28th, and then he starts his Talladega win.
Wow.
So, yeah, just been average, just been okay.
That's being very nice, Jared.
Well, you're trying to tell me not to steer the viewer.
No,
with
well,
the 30th,
I mean,
so
again, when you see with a caliber driver like Ryan and a caliber team
he's not
like Penske, he's not anything that's 25th or worse. It's likely because of something happened.
But something probably happened because you're running.
You kept saying blank 9th, blank 12th, blank 9th, blank 12th. Like that's where he kind of was, right?
Right.
And then all of a sudden, here we go. The last 4 weeks or so, he's been on fire. He's been, I think, consistently one of the best cars. Vegas, one of the best cars. He was up front. Homestead, him and Larson, tit for tat. And then this weekend, he was the best. So,
and he almost won Phoenix last year, right, and helped push Logano to the victory.
Yeah, yes. Without playoff implication or championship implications, yeah, Blaney had the best car last fall for sure. So how can you not consider him a favorite? He is the hot hand. He's fast right now, and they've clicked on something or they have found something that has greatly increased their speed.
Yeah, since I wanted to say the next gen era, but he's finished fourth, second.
Yeah,
and
that's pretty damn solid.
Dating back to 2018, he's only finished outside the top 10 once.
Yeah, I mean, let's
a crash.
Handicap this and break it down. You got Larson, Byron, Bell, and Blaney. I think that we saw the first chink in the armor with Byron at Martinsville. Like, I genuinely think he was nervous. It's very easy to get panicked. I've been there 1,000 times.
You could hear in the car audio yesterday, there was panic throughout that race from them.
Yeah. Just keep doing what you're doing. We're fine where we are. Well, what does that mean?
Yeah, so this is going to be his first go-around at the Final Four. I think he's going to be nervous. That's just my general feel. I think Larson will be. He's been here. Now, the year that Larson won the championship at Phoenix, he was by far the worst car in the field of the four, and then had some good circumstances work out. But he's going to race freer. I think Larson is going to be himself. I think he's you're not going to I don't think he's going to alter too much for the way he, puts his car on the edge. Now, it's high risk, high reward with him. But I just think that he has a chance to, if he races as free as he normally does, or practices or qualifies as free as he usually does, he could stamp himself as like by far the fastest. You wouldn't be surprised to see after practice, Larson's by far the fastest of the guys, because that's his style.
That doesn't sound like that would you would be too convinced by that. Is what I'm getting out of you. Based on the way you say it.
I know I'm talking in circles and not making sense for sure.
You're not picking Byron. You're saying Larson will be the fastest, but
is Coke Zero Sugar the best Coke ever? I know that's a bold question, but it's got that irresistible taste to back it up. Well, when you've got an irresistible match like zero sugar and 0 calories, something sensational is bound to happen. It's like when me and my co-host Jared team up to make a podcast. It's too bad you can't taste with your ears, because Coke Zero Sugar tastes so amazing, it's hard to put it into words. But hey, that's my job, at least on Mondays. You have to taste it for yourself. Coke Zero Sugar, the best Coke ever. I'm not picking Byron for a few reasons, but I think this... I could be totally wrong on this. I just feel like the Larson and the Blaney have the raw speed that is going to be tough to match. I think about Bell. I don't know. He qualifies well. He doesn't always race that well, but he executes well. So you just know you never know what can happen. I mean, this is a one-race championship. When does, you tell me when the cautions are going to fall. Tell me if it's going to be a short run or a long run. Who's going to have tires, and I'll probably tell you who the champ's going to be. But there's just so many variables in all this. And so I'm going to go with Kyle Larson, because I think he has a pit crew advantage over the 12 as well. That is a factor. That is a factor. Qualifying, I'm going to give the edge to Larson as well. So to me, I don't see how you don't pick him. I think Byron, the Larson, Byron, Bell pit crew teams, they're close. And then I think Blaney's is just a smidgen slower. Just a smidgen slower. And I think that every 10th is going to matter. I want to look at who's fast on pit road, who rolls through pit road on the season rankings really good. All those stats are going to matter when it comes to figuring out who's going to come off pit road on the last stop with the lead. Yeah, because that's going to be your champion, most likely. And it's just when you put all that together, I think the 5 is going to rank pretty high in all the metrics. Byron's going to rank fairly high, but I just worry a little bit about the panic that I saw with him this weekend. Bell, while did not have the fastest car last year, I was really impressed with how he still challenged up front in Phoenix last year. I still think he needs just a touch more experience, but I'm rooting for Bell. Obviously, he's a teammate, a great kid. I call him a kid. He's like 30 years old just because he looks younger. But, I think it's if I had to pick one, I think Larson wins it again for all the reasons listed.
In years past, we've gone into this race, and you've said, well, Larson's the favorite or Chase is the favorite because they drive a Chevy, and Chevy's been the best on this type of track. I guess it's good news that you're not saying that this year, that it seems like every manufacturer has a fighting shot.
You just brought up a good point of why maybe my pick is wrong. Because I think on the shorter tracks, the lower downforce tracks, Chevy's not been as good. Certainly the Fords, I thought, were by far the bulk of the cars up front, which is that makes your argument of why Blaney is going to be your champion. Toyotas have been pretty good everywhere. So I don't know. I just think that it's going to be close. It really will be close, and it's going to be compelling. I think that you've got a good fast four that they've all got their strengths, but their strengths are they're all different from each other. What each one is good at is different from what the other guys are good at, which could end up making a 1, 2, 3, 4 battle.
Take out the fact that you're rooting for Christopher Bell to win because he's a teammate and whatnot. Do you look at this championship 4 at all and think, I'd be okay with Byron winning because he put together the most complete season. He has the most race wins. He has the most top 5s in the Winston Cup standings. He's at the top. Like, do you?
He doesn't have the most top 5s.
Top 10s, maybe.
You're staring at him.
Great. Well, you're not in Phoenix, so
I know. I think we're actually tied. Yeah.
Do you look at it and think it's just good for the sport if the most deserving driver, based on the total performance of the season, just also happens to win this final race? Like, do you care about that at all?
Yeah, I mean, you want to see the most. You want to see the driver that's put together the most complete season. You would say Byron has put together the most complete season. While there's been a few hiccups here and there, generally speaking, he's been up at the front for the bulk of the year. And the only reason you wouldn't say Larson over him is that Larson's got like 8 DNFs. So, I think that, but in this format, you can do that. Like, he's got 8 DNFs because he knows he can.
Right.
You know what I mean? If you would see a more conservative Kyle Larson if every race mattered to the same extent, but they don't. So you're able to have those bang bust type weekends.
But is there a purist in you that says, man, I hope that this guy who put together the most season also happens to win this race?
Sure.
The 7 seed who got hot 5 weeks to go doesn't steal it.
Yes, that is how my mind's thinking right now. But I think that the most likely scenario is this guy that you just rang off his finishes, who just got hot here recently, is probably going to go up there and steal it. So that's what it is, and it's certainly going to be compelling. I mean, I'm a race fan too. I think it'll be a good show.